What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode here on Futbol Asada. I'm your host, Andre, here, my co host, Chris.
What up, boys and girls?
And the final roster for Mexico's Nations League has been announced. And there's a bunch of surprises and shocks, in my opinion. So let's get straight into it. So, instant thoughts. You guys can see on the screen the roster. What are your thoughts, Chris?
I think the first thing that stood out to me, almost like every roster, is that one guy that doesn't belong is Charlie Rodriguez. And the second biggest thing I noticed was there's no Henry Martin. I thought that was pretty surprising, especially because he scored 2 goals to get us into this situation. He's the one who scored twice against Honduras to send us to the semifinals. So that was kind of surprising. But I mean, I'm not mad at the three striker options. I mean, when we have Santi, we have Raul and Quinones. Him opting Quinones over Henry, I mean, I don't think that's the biggest snub in the world. Quinones has been absolutely on fire in the Saudi league. But again, back to the very first surprise that I saw was Charlie Rodriguez making it, but not Elias Montiel, not Marcel Ruiz. Like those two guys not being on the roster, it's just disrespectful. Like these guys are literally, they could be starting, and I don't think anyone would mind if Montiel and Marcel Ruiz were starting for the national team. No one would be like, oh, these guys don't belong. If anything, they've earned it. The fact that they're not even on the roster is insane. You cannot tell me that Charlie Rodriguez, who's had 50 something caps, again, I say this every video about him. Let me reiterate this, that way people can actually deep how bad this guy is. This guy, in his last 52 games for the national team, has 0 goals and 1 assist. 52 games. He's contributed 1 assist. And people are going to be like, oh, he's a midfielder, doesn't get goals and assists. And then what does he do? If he doesn't contribute to goals and assists, what does he do? He's not like fast. He's not physical. He's not like a dominant defensive presence. He doesn't like create anything. So like, what does he do then? Like the fact that we keep opting for this guy and other players like Orbelín Pineda, he's better than Chadley. But again, we've seen what he's done. He doesn't show up in big games. Like, why are we still giving all these guys chances when you have Elias Montiel, Marcel Ruiz, who are doing very good for their clubs and have shown when they get the chance on the national team, they do pretty good. So I don't understand how those two didn't make the roster, but then like the same typical Charlie, Romo, Orbelin make it. Like when we've seen in the past, our forwards struggle and suffer because those guys can't create anything. So why are we still trying to do the same thing over and over and over? Like that's those are my initial thoughts. Like those two positions, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I agree. The biggest letdown for me is yet again another convocatoria without Marcel Ruiz. This guy's already 24 years old, and he should have had a good amount of caps to his name already, but he doesn't because of the likes of Luis Romo and Charlie Rodriguez. Marcel Ruiz is way younger than them, and the fact that he consistently gets left out of this team is disappointing because every time, I think many of us, if we do like an ideal starting 11, a lot of people have Marcel Ruiz on that team. Me and Chris had him on our team. He's very good box to box, good physical presence. He scores, he assists. Like he's a complete midfielder. He's been a consistently one of the best Mexican midfielders in Liga MX for quite some time now. And he never makes the team because we let players like Charlie Rodriguez, who, yes, you could argue he maybe is one of the best midfielders in Liga MX. Like I do not enjoy how he plays. I think his style of play it just isn't attractive at all. But I see it because he's been in Cruz Azul teams that have been consistently good. But when you keep doing something over and over and over and over again, and you don't try to fix it, then what are we doing? Like, he almost has 60 appearances for Mexico, and the guy doesn't even have 5 goals and assists combined as a midfielder. And like Chris said, okay, maybe that's not his role to get goals and assists. Then what is his role? He plays the ball back all the time. He's very scared in big moments. You damn near don't even know if he's on the field or not. He's a complete joke, and I don't think I'll ever get tired of saying that. It's going to be very hard for that player to switch my mind because he's already 28 years old. In reality, he shouldn't even be in this team no more. Why not give players like Montiel a chance, way younger, that has so much football to show for? Like, we're trying to prepare for the next World Cup and we're calling up the same players. Same with Luis Romo. I prefer Luis Romo over Charlie a bit, but when Luis Romo transferred to Chivas, to me it was kind of a good sign because I'm like, all right, he's going to a way worse team compared to Cruz Azul, so maybe he won't be a part of the national team no more. And to be honest, Luis Romo hasn't even been that good for Chivas, and he's still here, bro. Like, it's very frustrating. But I think besides those two players, it's almost a perfect roster. Besides those two,
The thing about like that really pisses me off about like the Charlie inclusion is last year and maybe the season before that, I would have bought it just because I'm like, Yeah, he was one of the best midfielders in Liga MX, and it's more disappointing that the other guys weren't stepping up to take his place. But like, I didn't blame El Vasco for calling him up because I'm like, bro, if this guy's balling for like a Cruz Azul that's in first place and dominating the league, like he doesn't really have a choice. Like Charlie was one of the best players for Cruz Azul during the last 2 seasons when like literally they're finishing first in the table both times. So I'm like, I didn't really blame him. But this season, like Toluca's higher in the table than Cruz Azul. Toluca's having a better season than Cruz Azul. Marcel Ruiz in the league has 5 goals and assists. Charlie has 1. So Marcel Ruiz is producing way better numbers on a better team. Like he needs to be in the roster. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like especially when you've already seen what Charlie does on the national team. Like the excuse before was, well, I mean, Charlie's better than all of them in the league. Okay, whatever, I buy it then. But this time, no. Like he's not doing better in the league, and we know on the national team he doesn't do anything. Like why is he there? For me, that's like I don't know. Like that, those inclusions are almost like unforgivable. Almost makes me think like the manager's not watching, or like who is watching these games, or who's making people like. Does he have like is he blackmailing like the selección or something? Like how like what dirt does he have on them for him to keep getting these call ups? Like it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Take it off of that. Like I guess there's some other inclusions that were like people might not have expected. Carlos Moreno making it over Memo, a little surprising, but I mean Memo is pretty up there in age. Moreno's just a decent goalie for Pachuca. I mean, I would have loved to see Alex Padilla, but Alex Padilla has had a very bad season for Pumas.
Trash. He's been trash.
I still believe he's going to be a good goalie, but this season he's been shocking. Like he's been, I don't know what happened ever since he moved to Pumas, but he's been bad. Another surprise, I guess you could say, is
Ramon Juarez.
Ramon Juarez. I mean, I think it's deserved though. I'm not like it's not surprising in a bad way. I think it's deserved.
Yeah, very good.
That's pretty much it. Like I don't think there's any. The only big snubs outside of like the two that we mentioned already, Montiel and Ruiz, and outside of Henry as well, is maybe Julian Araujo, but he's just been injured, so it's impossible for him to get called up. This guy has not played a game since when, like October, September. Like he's been out. But so besides that, I think this is the best we got. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like the inclusion of Efrain Alvarez. He's a very creative player. He could produce a lot for the strikers. His delivery is very good. He could get assists. He's very similar to Piojo, but that's actually a player we haven't talked about. Piojo Alvarado hasn't done much for Chivas or the Selección recently. In 2024, that he was very good. He deserved to be in the call-ups and everything. But since this season started, he has not impressed me at all. He's very slow. He doesn't seem that urgent in his game. He's supposed to be Chivas' best player, and he doesn't play like it. So that's a player that I'm like 50-50 with. Like if he wasn't in the team, I would not be shocked, to be honest.
No, I agree. I mean, for most part of the season, Chivas' best attacker was an 18-year-old Hugo Camberos. He maybe deserves it more than Piojo right now, but I don't know. I guess that's not how the selection operates. Like, I guess if you're a certain age, you don't even get a look. But besides those, like, it is pretty much the best we got. But I can't help but think, like, I genuinely feel two guys that could have been starting are not even on the team, and they're not injured, like Montiel and Ruiz. For me, that's the biggest like omissions. But besides that, we could still pretty much build our best 11
With these players.
I mean, the best 11 now is probably what, like Malagon, Huescas or Reyes at right back, center backs, Montes, Vasquez, left back. I mean, we don't really have that many options. I mean, I guess Gallardo. I mean, the midfield, I think the midfield is going to suffer, not going to lie.
The midfield is atrocious.
It's Edson, and like literally besides him, there's no athleticism, no creativity, no speed. Like, at this point, I'm almost hoping like we do play 4-4-2, even if Edson might suffer a bit because he's not like used to playing that. Because I'd rather have an extra forward than an extra midfielder in the game. So maybe I don't know Edson and who? Edson and Luis Chavez.
I had no idea. But it's rumored that Vasco prefers Raul over Santi. So if it's a one striking formation, we're going to have to see Santi off the bench. In that case, I probably see like, I feel like Quiñones is going to start on the wing again, which I do not want to see. And like Vega or Chino on the right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he should play players in their best positions, to be honest. Because then I don't know. Like I think we're gonna struggle if we're trying to like I don't know. Like he's like Quiñones not good on the wing, so I wouldn't start him. And then you're trying to put Vega on the right when he usually plays on the left, so he can cut in and shoot. Like I think that would also be a mistake.
I would love to see Efra start a game, but I think the chances of that are very low.
For me, if I had to do it now, not looking at the roster, since there won't be Montiel and Ruiz, where I could have trusted a midfield 3, I think just a midfield 2 now. I would go from the midfield up. Probably the 2 wide players would be Vega and Chino, with Edson and Luis Chavez in the middle, and then 2 strikers up top. I mean, self-explanatory. Raul Jimenez, Santi Jimenez. I'm kind of hoping now he plays with two strikers. Even the last video I said we should probably maybe play with one because we haven't tried it. But after seeing the roster and we have no creativity in the midfield, we had to go with less midfielders. Like we can't have more dead weight in the midfield when the strength of our team is obviously the attackers.
Yeah, but I think overall to end the video, I think this team is good enough to win the whole thing.
I like maybe to save the predictions for the predictions video, but I mean it is a good roster. Like I'm not gonna say like this team has no chance,
Yeah,
but I really I'm seeing red flags already. Like we're seeing, I feel like we're gonna see the same problem where we struggle to create, and that's because of the midfield that we continue to call up with guys that do not produce goals or assists or chances in general. So, but we'll see, we'll see.
another plus is another convocatoria without Antuna, and then a convocatoria without Memo Martinez for once.
Nah, I think those guys were never gonna make it. To be honest, like
Yeah,
with a full roster, like they had no chance.
we've seen the end of them. But let us know in the comments, guys, what you guys think of the roster. Is this roster more than good enough to win the CONCACAF Nations League? Let us know your shocks and surprises and who you enjoyed to see in this roster. Click the like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for the best Mexican football content. Hit the post notice to be informed every time we upload. And any last comments?
Nope, that's it. Let's get it.
Catch you guys next week.
Peace.